From protests to LSK and to bilaterals in Morocco, and a little later on, the latest in business. Good evening from wherever you're watching us in Kenya and around the world. This is KBC Prime Edition, coming to you live right here on Broadcasting House located along Harry Thuku Road. Good evening. My name is Mboya, and this live broadcast begins right now. Pressing the pressure button, medics issue a 7-day strike notice over what they term unfulfilled government promises.
The law remains that section is unconstitutional, and so therefore no deductions can be made.
Firing a warning shot, LSK threatens to sue the taxman over continued housing levy deductions against court ruling. Rooting for Raila, Musalia Mudavadi now urges diplomats to back Raila's bid to head the African Union Commission. Thank you for joining us. Our socials at KBC Channel 1. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Lensa Odingo. Karen Kibet comes a little later on with a look at the day's sports. But first, our lead story. The government is tonight under pressure to head the demands of medical workers amid the ongoing push for reforms in the health sector. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has issued a 7-day nationwide strike notice accusing government of laxity in addressing key issues affecting the sector. As Beatrice Gatonya reports, clinicians and nurses are also piling pressure on government to look into promotions, medical cover, and teething problems that are affecting the implementation of the universal health coverage.
Doctors were back in the streets on Monday, this time with a longer list of demands. The medics who marched from Afya House to Parliament and Treasury say there would be no turning back on their push for a workable formula in the attainment of reforms in the health sector.
Lazima tupate ile apology ya kwanza kutoka kwa CS wa health. Hawezi sema ati ile ilikuwa tu ya mea. Hakuna bahati mbaya. And we also know that the secretary had actually been warned by the same officer that if they do not stop, he was going to take him out. We are still worried. He might be looking for him. So we want him arrested and arraigned.
As the doctors issued their demands, clinicians and nurses were also giving the ultimatums to the government.
Tuko na interns. We have interns in the category of the medical officers, the pharmacists, the dentists, the clinical, and the nursing. They are sent for internship every year. Lakini sasa huu mwaka tunaambiwa ati sijui hakuna pesa, sijui pesa zilienda wapi.
They said if the government does not act in the next 14 days, they will down their tools.
So we have given them 14 days. Kama ile haitafanyika sisi wote tutoke. Alafu tuwaachie pia wafanye kazi. Pande ya madaktari KMPD imepatiana 7 days from Monday next week. We won't have doctors in the facility. Lazima wengine pia Monday ingine.
Ndebe's Member of Parliament Dr. Robert Pukose called on the police to practice restraint when dealing with peaceful protesters. He called for the prosecution of the police officer accused of harming KMPDU Secretary General Davji Atela. He said Parliament is keenly looking into the grievances presented to them by the medics and will take the necessary action.
It is very unfortunate what happened to Dr. Devji, and we condemn with the strongest terms possible. Police should not take law into their hands, and they should not, because medical doctors are trained to save life. Then how dare you, a policeman, shoot a doctor? That is very wrong. We condemn it, and that is not allowed. And the officer who shot him should be prosecuted.
Meanwhile, health workers in Kisii made good their threats to down their tools. The health workers accused the county government of failing to meet their demands and attempting to spin the narrative surrounding their grievances.
Wacha tugome ndio watimize haya mambo ambayo walitia saini katika mkataba wetu wa 2019. Na kwa wakazi wa Kisii County tunaomba mtuwie radhi. Decision ambayo tumefikia kuenda mgomo ni uchungu sana, kwa sababu tunajua wagonjwa wanaumia, lakini tutafenyeje kama serikali ndio inatulazimisha kwenda mgomo?
Now, President William Ruto has assented to the county government additional allocations bill that seeks to provide an extra 46 billion shillings to devolved units. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, the president said that the legislation marks a significant step in strengthening devolution and resource allocation to counties. He said the government has already paid 31 billion shillings to counties and expects more disbursements to be made in the coming weeks.
The signing of the bill into law comes in the wake of a disbursement of 31 billion shillings to counties made a fortnight ago in an effort to offset an 81 billion shillings delayed payment to counties by the National Treasury. Speaking at State House Nairobi, President Ruto assured governors that they will receive another substantial disbursement soon.
We are again planning in the next week or two to pay another substantial amount of money, again to support our counties for them to discharge their responsibilities. I'm also very happy that counties are beginning to also look at other avenues of raising resources.
The law requires Treasury to disburse funds by the 15th of every month for the following month. However, this has not been the case, with Treasury delaying the disbursement for up to 4 months, citing cash flow challenges caused by underperforming revenues and huge public debt obligations.
I must say that we continuously are working towards making sure that whenever we have resources, it is shared between the two levels of government equitably, so that every level of government can discharge their responsibilities.
Going forward, Ruto commended the Council of Governors for withdrawing a petition that had proved a stumbling block towards reaching an agreement.
On this issue is a very welcome development, and it goes to the spirit of both levels of government working together and both levels of government working also with the legislature, so that we can find mechanisms of us working together without the acrimony that comes with taking ourselves to court.
Of the 46 billion made available by the presidential assent, 450 million shillings will go towards completion of 5 county headquarters, including Lamu, Isiolo, Nyandarua, Tharaka Nithi and Tana River, that could not raise enough revenues to complete the projects. The bill also allocated 5 billion shillings towards the subsidized fertilizer program.
Our farmers, as the fertilizer is made available, let us use the seeds, the fertilizer that has been made available for us to be able to grow food in our country, because it is the only way we can get rid of the shame of hunger in our nation.
Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, the Law Society of Kenya has threatened to sue the Commissioner General of Kenya Revenue Authority for deducting the housing levy from employees' salaries. LSK, who termed the move as contempt of court, said the levy was declared unconstitutional, which consequently barred the government from deducting the levy. The society also plans to commence contempt of court proceedings against all accounting officers and employers who, it says, have unlawfully deducted the housing levy. Kamchemeza reports.
Obey the law. That's the demand by the Law Society of Kenya to the government amid the continued deductions of the housing levy. LSK says the Kenya Revenue Authority is brazenly setting a bad precedent.
KRA is part of the parties that were in court, both in the High Court and in the Court of Appeal. And we know that they have competent lawyers within their organization that would have advised on the effect of the Court of Appeal failing to give an order to stay the implementation of the High Court decision.
There is no legal basis to deduct the housing levy, and this action amounts to contempt of court and arbitrary imposition of tax. The Law Society of Kenya shall immediately commence contempt of court proceedings against the Commissioner General of the Kenya Revenue Authority.
LSK says it will push for the refund of all the illegally deducted dues.
Ni muhimu tuende kotini tufanye application ya contempt na tuitishe pia serikali iweze kurudishia wale ambao wamekatwa hizo pesa kinyume cha sheria, na tunatumai kwamba kabla wiki huu ufunge tutakuwa tumeenda kotini.
We call upon all employees who have suffered this illegal deduction to get in touch with the Law Society through our email address, and we will share the same and share their salary pay slips to facilitate the filing of the application seeking refund of the illegally deducted.
The Law Society of Kenya has, in the meantime, condemned the attack on doctors and called on the government to address all the issues and demands raised by the medics.
LSK will join in solidarity with KMPDU in taking all necessary action to ensure justice is served for Dr. Davji. We demand that the Inspector General of Police and IPOA take immediate steps to hold the rogue individuals who committed this heinous attack personally liable.
LSK accused the police of using force against professional bodies seeking to protect the rights and interests of their members and the people of Kenya.
Now, Senate Minority Party now wants the Affordable Housing Bill taken to county assemblies for consideration. The senators argue that the bill is currently before Senate, requires the input of ward representatives as it directly affects them. A section of senators, in the meantime, are accusing Speaker Amason Kingi of stifling debate and entertaining unconstitutional bills in the House. Gishoki Washira reports.
Senate had scheduled a retreat for all members to reflect on performance, but the minority party skipped to protest the manner the Speaker has been handling its members.
Our considered opinion, the Speaker's office is one of the biggest impediment to the proper working of the House.
We have also raised concern in the manner in which the leadership is treated, and especially by members of the Speaker's panel. And we feel that it is imperative that the Speaker respond to these matters.
Kwa ajili ya mambo haya yote ambayo yanafanyika ndani ya bunge letu, itakuwa ni unafiki sisi kwenda kuketi kwenye mikahawa, kukunywa chai pale na maandazi, ilhali masuala mazito ambaye yanatuhusu sisi na kazi yetu kama maseneta hayashughulikiwi.
The Azimio and Kenya senators accused the Speaker and some members of Speaker's panel of stifling debate by limiting debating time or entertaining unnecessary points of order. Further, they accused the Speaker of disrespecting the minority leadership.
Some members of the Speaker's panel appear to be under instructions to allow numerous and repeated frivolous points of orders whenever a member of the minority is on the floor.
Speaker wa Senate ajibu barua zote ambazo wameandikiwa kutoka kwa upande wa walio wachache, kuanzia na barua hii ya kumfukuza complaint ambayo tumeraise kuhusu Mheshimiwa Veronica Maina anavyoendesha mambo.
The opposition senators claim the Senate is considering unconstitutional bills that are against devolution. They also want the Affordable Housing Bill be taken to county assemblies to have input of MCAs.
We demand that all the 47 counties must pronounce themselves on this bill in terms of public participation of Mwananchi during the time that we are considering this particular bill. That is the way forward.
Meanwhile, the Senate Speaker will on Tuesday communicate how the House will consider impeachment motion against Kisii Deputy Governor Robert Monda. Gishoke Washira, Prime Edition.
On to a shocking item now. Police in Mwingi Central, Kitui County are trying to unravel the mystery involving the bizarre murder of a 49-year-old woman by her husband's cousin. In an incident that has shocked residents of Kianziani village in Kairungu location, Mboya, Musili is said to have attacked Margaret John with a panga, beheaded her, then fleeing with her head. The 36-year-old was, however, killed by a mob 20 kilometers from the crime scene after showing them where he hid the dismembered head. Kinyanziani Chief Daniel Kumbo confirmed that the killer and his victim had issues sometimes back, which had led to the crime.
Nilikuwa na watoto wawili na wako shule na tunasaidiana na yeye. Sasa hivi nimewachwa peke yangu.
Ni kama kulikuwa na mzozo wa kifamilia kutoka kitambo. Juu imesemekana yule Peter Musili kuna wakati ambapo miaka ya 2020 hivyo aliweza kuvamia yule mama na akaweza kuhakisha nyumba yake, lakini hakuweza kufaulu kufanya vile alikuwa anataka kufanya.
Wananchi wakiona mtu amefanya makosa, wakimshika wasichukue sheria mikononi mwao, kwa sababu kuchukua sheria mikononi ni makosa sana.
Now, 2 people, including a senior retired police officer, have been shot dead after they were attacked by unknown bandits in Samburu West, barely a week after the killing of the area area politician. Confirming the incident, Area Police Commander Thomas Ototo also assured residents of their safety after the police officers in that area raised alarms. The bodies are in Maralal Referral Hospital mortuary, as those injured have been admitted at the hospital.
Coming day in, coming day out, tunapoteza mtu. Mpaka viongozi.
Leo barabara kwa sababu tunaumia, hata si watu wa malori, tunaogopa siku hizi kwenda huko. Ni kama tumepewa kasi, inabidi twende usiku.
Wasamburu hana fujo hata. Wale watu wote ambao anawawa, labda alikuwa anachunga tu ng'ombe yao, hakuna fujo.
Na hapa tuko na mgonjwa mmoja ambaye tuliweza kureceive hapo jana kutoka area ya Polo, mahali panaitwa Soitpus, ambaye aliweza kupata majeraha ya risasi ambapo alishambuliwa na majambazi waliokuwa wamejihami na bunduki, na ndiposa akaweza kuwa admitted hapa katika kituo hiki cha wagonjwa mahututi. Na kwa sasa hivi tunaona mgonjwa wetu anaendelea vizuri, ako out of danger, na pia hata anaweza kuzungumza na anaendelea na matibabu vizuri. Kwa bahati mbaya juzi na jana pia tuliweza kupokea maiti 2 ambazo zilikuwa zimetoka sehemu 2 tofauti.
Anti-Corruption Chief Magistrate Thomas Nzioka has implored upon the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution and Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to work together and avoid situations that compromise the judicial process. Nzioka said that the court will maintain its independence and will not be swayed by any external force in executing its mandate. This is as a discord between the Director of Public Prosecution and Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission continue to play out in court, with each pointing an accusing finger at the other on prosecution of pending graft-related cases.
Appearing before Anti-Corruption Chief Magistrate Thomas Nzioka Monday for conversing of the Geothermal Development Company 42.7 million shillings graft case, the office of the DPP said it's not ready to proceed with an application dated 13 February 2024.
Because the last time when the matter came up, when you were ready to proceed, you were served with an affidavit by ESCC, which my colleagues, the defense, have ably replied. We've not been able to look at what my colleagues responded to and whether we need to file a further affidavit.
And they can confirm that on my part, I complied with the timelines given by the court, and they were served on the 28th. That was last week. Yes. So they really have no excuse to ambush me with their documents in court today, when I served them well in advance.
The ODPP and the ESCC had to agree for an adjournment to reply after both delayed in serving each other.
The DPP actually served us with a list of authorities on Friday, 1st of March. So we had to work over the weekend in order to prepare our own district authorities in response. This morning I was also served with 2 replying affidavits.
The duo has locked horns over the prosecution of 8 accused persons charged for defrauding Jodhamo Development Company through exaggeration of procurement services by over 100% in 2013.
Kindly hold more conferences in between now and the time you are coming for interparties. And I really beseech Council Timo and Council Ben and Ngana, reach out to one another, correct? Go back to your drawing board, correct? Look at it, so that you can redeem us from the position that we are in.
The trial chief magistrate, while giving a date for hearing the matter, urged both parties to adhere to the Supreme Court decision that ordered the prosecution of all the accused persons in the graft case. The show of might between the EACC and the DPP continued on Monday, with the court scheduling 5th of April 2024 as the hearing of the application from both sides. Ruth Mboya reporting from Milimani Law Courts.
Well, that report brings us to our first break. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with much more. Stay with us.
Mama wengi ni wafanyikazi, lakini wakati wa kupata mtoto mama hapati mshahara, na tunajua ya kwamba kazi ya kufungua kupata mtoto ni njia moja ya kujenga nchi, na tunaona saa nyingine huyu mama anarudi kazi, akisha kaa wiki moja nyumbani na afya yake ni nzuri, na tungefikiria mzee kwa uzuri wako uone ya kwamba hii afadhali tupate kama miezi 3 hivi na malipo, ili mama akae nyumbani apate ile nguvu amete, alafu anaweza kuwa na nguvu, anarudi kazini na anaacha mtoto yake ako na nguvu, ili tuweze kujenga nchi yetu kwa njia nzuri.
Sisi ya kungoja kwenye *570# kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed, na inakungoja *570#. Bukana shake.
Welcome to Sensei Institute. Mahali skills zangu ni pesa mkononi. At Sensei College, practical skills is the definition. Accredited by the government and founded on a Christian background, Sensei College offers all-rounded programs that are tailor-made to enhance your skills and give you the future you desire. We offer courses such as interior design, fashion and design, hairdressing and beauty, hospitality courses, trailer driving and defensive driving, building construction technology, CCTV, solar and electrical installation, photography and video production, electronic courses, vehicle electronics and mechanic courses, agricultural mechanics, ICT, and many more. To enroll in any of our campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru, all you need is your national ID card. Mapema ndo best. Take advantage of our monthly intake. Come to kusort na skills. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Man, and tonight it's all about celebrating the Kenyan talent, the Kenyan music.
His unique, instantly recognizable voice was one of the group's defining characteristics, standing out in a crowded field where comparisons are frequent.
Welcome back our socials at KBC Channel 1. Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says that government is set to repossess all grabbed land, warning people against encroaching on government land. Speaking during a fact-finding mission on part of the grabbed land at the Kitale prison land, Wahome noted that out of 159 acres of gazetted land at Kitale Medium Prison in 1961, only 12 acres are left. This comes as Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee is set to hand over land and assets worth billions of shillings in the next couple of weeks as the transfer of devolved functions enters the last stage.
In line with President William Ruto's directive to repossess all grabbed public land, Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome has issued a stern warning to anyone in possession of public land, urging them to surrender as the government will not negotiate.
Anybody entertaining, grabbing, or giving land out that belongs to the public will be having a big problem unless it is through a government project.
Speaking during a fact-finding mission on part of the grabbed Kitale prison land, Wahome noted that out of the 159 acres gazetted in 1961, only 12 acres were left, vowing to repossess all the grabbed land back.
But we will engage with anybody who will be affected. They are Kenyans. We will engage with them so that they can understand the precarious position they are standing on.
This comes as she also warned Kenyans to be careful when purchasing land.
Before you do a purchase, consult your lawyer, make sure you know your lawyer, and then consult the registries. Countrywide, we have land offices, and if you are not sure, come to the main registry where you'll find the PS in charge of all those operations.
This comes as the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, IGRTC, is expected to hand over land and assets worth billions of shillings in the next couple of weeks as the transfer of devolved functions enters the last stage.
We are 100% in terms of agreement of what needs to be transferred when.
Use the law as provided. Let's avoid using money we should have used to develop our counties in courts.
Even with the transfer of those functions, even with the transfer of resources, for our system of devolved governance to work well, they will still need to keep in good consultation, in good cooperation, in coordination. They will need to see and seize opportunities for working well together in transforming the country.
The last valuation exercise targeting government land and buildings targeted 30 counties ahead of the end of March deadline. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Raymond Omolo says that government remains committed to enhancing border controls in the fight against the proliferation of small arms and contraband that continue to wreak havoc in the country. Omolo says Kenya is streamlining policies and procedures across government agencies to enable a more coordinated approach to tackling organized crime and other threats to peace and security. Tilio Marco reports.
Representatives of 21 governments drawn from East and Southern Africa are meeting in Nairobi ahead of the 4th Review Conference on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Stakeholders call for a deft approach in tackling the challenge of illicit trade in small arms and light weapons in the region.
Primary focus is that there is a general concern on the issues of small arms and light weapons. As countries and as regions, there have been a lot of efforts and emphasis put in place towards ensuring that the country remains safe.
So we need to tackle the illicit transfer and use of small arms and light weapons together.
Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo said Kenya is working to ensure it secures its borders to make it difficult for criminal gangs to move in and out of the country with weapons and contraband. Speaking during the launch and rollout of the revised Kenya Coordinated Border Management Program, Omolo noted that the revised program aims at streamlining policies and procedures across the government agencies to allow for a more coordinated approach to tackle organized crime and other threats to peace and security.
We've been having conversations around illicit alcohol and, of course, drugs and substance abuse.
Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Now, to mark the annual World Wildlife Day in the country, the Kenya Wildlife Services has launched the Sable Antelope Recovery Action Plan to salvage the species whose 78% of its population has been lost to poaching at the Shimba Hills National Reserve. To this end, KWS is erecting a 14-strand electric fence around the reserve and enhancing neighboring communities' awareness against poaching. Our reporter, June Karisa, attended the day-long fete in Kwale County and filed this report.
As the world marks the annual Wildlife Day to review conservation of wildlife and plants, the Kenya Wildlife Service and its conservation partners trooped to Kwale County for the national celebrations. Kwale Governor Fatma Achani flagged off the procession to Shimba Hills Game Reserve. This exercise was meant to raise the alarm at the near extinction of the sable antelope from 256 to 56 in 2023 due to poaching. It is for this reason that KWS has embarked on a robust sensitization campaign against poaching, besides revamping the reserve's fence.
We have to embrace that good faith and showcase. We want watu wa Kwale waanze kuona wanyama kama vile wanaonekana Masai Mara.
Kwale Governor Fatma Achani also proposed sharing of royalties from parks with the local communities to enhance conservation.
Tuko na Shimba Hills, tuko na Kisite Mpunguti, tuna rasilimali nyingi, lakini hii rasilimali yetu yote haiturudi sisi wa Kwale, inaenda Kenya kwa Wakenya wote.
We want to liaise with the relevant departments, police, nini, na tuhakikishe ya kwamba compensation imefanywa vizuri.
Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua underscored the government's commitment to conservation with a 300 million shilling funding of projects to boost tourism numbers and revenues across the coastal stretch.
Katika hii bahari yetu ina watalii hapa, ndio tuweze kuhimiza usalama. Polisi wale wa tourism, polisi hapo tunanunulia zile motorbike zile za miguu nne.
In consonance with this year's theme, Exploring Digital Innovation in Wildlife Conservation, the Nairobi National Park is introducing technologies such as lion lights, collar tagging on wild animals and drones in conservation.
This not only affects the wildlife itself, but it is also used to, ensure that issues of illegal trade in wildlife is also dealt with.
June Karisa Mbele from Kwale County.
Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Musalia Mudavadi has urged African diplomats to back Kenya's bid for the African Union Commission's chairmanship. Mudavadi made the call when he met the African Diplomatic Corps to deliberate on the continent's potential and challenges. This as Kenya's candidate for the AU Commission top job, Raila Odinga, is expected to head to Rwanda to seek President Paul Kagame's support. Give us on minor reports.
President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza administration has intensified Kenya's campaign for the African Union Commission chairmanship. On Monday morning, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, hosted the African Diplomatic Corps. Musalia using the platform to woo African nations to throw their weight behind Kenya's Raila Odinga.
This is an opportunity for the Eastern Africa region. Kenya has an interest. And in this respect, we will be humbly coming to you soon to seek your support and the support of your countries.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary said initiatives such as the removal of visa requirements for African countries demonstrate Kenya's commitment to fostering inter-African trade and unity.
We are aware that the implementation of the visa-free regime has its teething challenges, but I want to assure you, Your Excellencies, that we are aware of these concerns, which we continue to address, and we shall soon have a flawless regime.
So far, 5 countries, including Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, and South Africa, have endorsed opposition leader Raila Odinga for the AU Commission chair position, where he seeks to succeed Musa Faki Mahamat of Chad. Giverson Minor, Prime Edition.
3 reformed addicts have taken it upon themselves to lead the anti-drug and substance abuse in the county of Nakuru, rather. The 3 used their own experiences, which led to 2 of them losing their eyesight, as a point of reference for youth not to engage in the vice. The initiative comes in the wake of calls for deeper collaboration between the national and county government to strengthen the collective fight against drugs and substance abuse by expanding treatment and rehabilitation services.
Anti-stock theft unit officer Stephen Hinga has not always been blind. He unexpectedly lost his eyesight in 2016, and upon checking in with the doctors, the cause was linked to a marijuana smoking habit he had picked up at the early age of 11. He is, however, grateful that the service saw him through rehabilitation, and he is now using his position to campaign against drug and substance abuse.
Kwa ile miaka ambayo nilitumia bangi, ilikuwa inataka kunipea saratani ya ubongo, ndio nikafanyia upasuaji wa ubongo. Ilikuwa kama grade 2. Then from hapo nikaenda India, nikafanywa radio surgery. Na hapo ndio niliza dukuza daktari, mbona hii tumor na ilitoroa nikarudi. Akaniambia utumizi wa bangi unaweza kuwa unasababisha.
In his quest, he is joined by Joseph Kimani, who remembers a drinking spree with a friend on a Sunday afternoon that led him to having blurred vision and excruciating headaches leading to hospitalization.
Nikaanza kuona hii kama kunanyesha huku mbele, kuangalia nyuma yangu ni kama kunanyesha, ni moshi. Sasa wakati niliangalia namna hiyo, nikashindwa hii ni nini tena imeniingia kwa macho.
Alan Uwashira, a recovering alcoholic, narrates how separating from his spouse led to excessive consumption of alcohol, barely saving any money and keeping any friends.
Sige kuogeresha hivi kama sija kunywa. Sige enda pahali hata kazi kama sija kunywa.
Ni wito yangu kwa kijana, kwa mtu yote ambaye anaweza kuwa ananitazama, hepuka utumizi wa mihadarati.
Ajaribu tu aonane na wenye wanajua kuzungumzia, azungumziwe ili aweze kuachana na hiyo pombe. Sababu hii pombe sasa imekuja na aina mingi sana.
The 3 have joined forces to sensitize youth and parents in Nakuru County where they reside. This even as parents demand speedy interventions from the relevant authorities at the national and devolved units of government.
Bangi inavutwa mpaka kwa vijiji. Bangi inavutwa mpaka wazazi wamechukua mikono juu. Bangi inavutwa mpaka ndani ya nyumba na watoto shule. Bangi imekuwa kama chakula.
Pale mbeleni watu wanatumia pombe na watu hawakuwa wakifa kwa wingi ama kupotea macho kama yale mambo yenye tunaona wakati huu. Kwa hivyo hii ni kumaanisha kuna mbinu ambazo zinataka kumaliza kizazi cha Wakenya.
Sheria zote zile zilikuwa zinahusika katika uvutaji wa bangi na pombe zirejeshwe kikamilifu katika police stations, zirejeshwe kikamilifu katika mahakama na katika sehemu zile zingine, kwa sababu hii pombe itatumaliza kabisa.
For the reformed addicts, they will stop at nothing to ensure other people in their community keep off harmful and illegal substances for the benefit of current and future generations. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
President William Ruto is expected to address the East African Legislative Assembly tomorrow as it begins 3 weeks of sittings in Nairobi. EALA Speaker Joseph Ntarikutimana said that the Democratic Republic of Congo conflict is among issues to be addressed.
Today, our businesses in Kenya will have to consider, of course we do, in our mandate we have to do oversight. We have also to get bills, and we have to represent our people, to listen to them. They can join us, we can join them, and then when back we can rule considering what we had received from them. But which business will we be having today in Kenya? We'll have to consider reports that our committees who have been doing oversight in different partner states, they report to the House.
Shamba ni mbili, yako ni gani? Kwenye star 570 hash. Every 100 shillings unayotumia kwa Lucky Game inakupa 1 entry point ya kuingia kwenye drum ya draw ambayo inakupa fursa ya kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi mbili. Mwisho wa April namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings na unapata title deed yako safi. Na mwisho wa Mei namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings, lori za mawe na mchanga. Ploti ndizo hizi. Dial star 570 hash. Title deed ndio hii. Vuka na shake.
Man, and tonight it's all about celebrating the Kenyan talent, the Kenyan music.
His unique, instantly recognizable voice was one of the group's defining characteristics, standing out in a crowded field where comparisons are frequent.
He has already begun his massacre. We were playing bridge at one of their monthly get-togethers, leaving out a Nobel Prize winner.
Good evening to you. Thank you for watching Prime Edition. Time to get the latest in the world of business. I am Betty Kiptum. Now, Kenya has received the second consignment of wagons in as many months in efforts to strengthen freight services. The consignment, comprising 430 wagons, were flagged off Monday morning by Transport Principal Secretary Mohamed Dagar, who said more wagons are expected in 2 months.
Comprising 50 wagons were flagged off for weeks as Kenya seeks to enhance the efficiency of ferrying cargo to hinterlands. And Monday morning, another consignment comprising 230 wagons to be used on the standard gauge railway and 200 wagons for the old meter gauge railway were flagged off. Officials said the new wagons will enhance capacity and help gradually replace the current fleet of wagons that are aged over 40 years.
We were having a backlog of close to 100,000 tons. We're having a backlog of steel coils here of 45,000 tons. We're having a backlog of steel billets of around 28,000 tons and other conventional and loose cargo. The last wagons you see on your left there, the MGR wagons, are over 40 years old. And that is why we made a decision through our minister to ensure that the railways, both for the old line and the new line, we continue to enhance capacity. And one of the ways is to bring these wagons.
Another consignment comprising 20 wagons are expected in May this year, bringing the total number of wagons acquired this year to 500. Of these, 300 wagons are to be used on the standard gauge railway, while the other 200 are for the old meter gauge railway.
Vile kama wizara tunajizatiti kuongeza pia hizi, unajua ni wagons za makashi ya mizigo kama container na nini, lakini pia katika passenger tunataka kuleta zile coaches 20 katika kipindi cha miezi miwili or so. Tunataka kureceive zile za coaches ili abiria waweze kuendelea na safari yao baina ya Mombasa na vituo vidogo vilioko baina ya Mombasa na Nairobi.
He says the meter gauge railway link between Mombasa SGR terminus in Meritini and the Central Railway Station are expected to be complete in May this year.
Tulikuwa kidogo tuko na mambo ya kuacquire ardhi ya kilomita 1.4 Nina furaha kutangaza kuwa hiyo kitu sasa imemalizwa na National Land Commission, na tumebakisha miezi miwili vile. Katika time ya mwezi wa 5, mwezi wa Mei, tutaweza kuwa tumemaliza kabisa reli na zile stesheni pia zitakuwa zinakaribia kumaliza.
The 17-kilometer link railway line projects include construction of new MGR passenger station at Mombasa Terminus, Miritini, Changamwe West, Changamwe East, Shimanzi, and the Mombasa Central Station.
To taxation matters now, new taxes introduced in the Finance Act of 2023 have seen the Kenya Revenue Authority collect 98.2 billion shillings in the 7-month period to January 2024. This leaves KRA with a target of collecting 116 billion shillings by end of June 2024 if the projected 214 billion shillings is to be collected in full. Here is Weri Munjanga with the details.
National Treasury Principal Secretary Dr. Chris Kiptoo says it will be a tough balancing act to finance the 2024-2025 budget due to revenue collections underperformance.
The biggest issue in our budgets each and every year has to do with revenues performance.
There is a huge demand for resources which we are struggling to get, and that is why we are trying to address all those issues to see how we can increase the revenue side of our budget.
All tax heads recorded below target collection during the period.
He said revenue collection shortfall, which as at the end of January 2024 stood at 195.4 billion shillings, driven by a shortfall in ordinary revenue by 232.6 billion shillings.
What we recorded, what we have indicated as performance up to January is a reflection of growth of 14.4%. It's very good, impressive growth. So it's not like KRA is doing poorly. It's just that against the target set, the performance is low by 195 billion. Now, in this 195 billion, we have exchequer request of 294 billion. So if we had paid that amount, KRA would collect a significant amount of the same.
Tax measures outlined in the Finance Act 2023 that was expected to generate 214 billion shillings in additional revenue have also underperformed, as the taxman has so far netted 98.2 billion shillings.
So part of the low collection is also because of the fact that we have not released. Because liquidity works out in such a way that when you pay, KRA is able to collect.
Dr. Kiptoo is calling for readjustment and adoption of fiscal consolidation strategies to ensure revenue matches expenditure.
And so this issue of tax, we are not saying we need to tax more Kenyans to raise higher taxes. What we need is to reach to Kenyans who are eligible to pay tax to be able to pay. And that is now tax expansion and ensuring compliance.
The National Treasury targets to reduce the overall 2023-2024 budget by 100 billion shillings. Were Mujenga for Prime Edition.
And pastoralists from arid and semi-arid areas are being urged to embrace indigenous vegetable farming in order to reduce over-reliance on livestock farming and improve overall nutrition. Alan Auko with the details.
Indigenous vegetables are growing in demand due to their overall nutritional value. The most common varieties in Kenya include African nightshade, which is managu, amaranthus, terere, spider plant, saget, and slenderleaf mitoo, among other popular traditional vegetables.
The African leafy vegetables, which we are growing in small areas which we call running centers. We have established livelihood running centers. This is where you find climate smart agriculture practices, and the women can run these practices and replicate at the household level.
Counties such as Kajiado, where the main agricultural activity is livestock keeping, have begun taking steps towards incorporating indigenous vegetables in their diets.
due to the climatic changes which have occurred in during the last 3 or 4 years back, we are actually looking at it how we can improve the livelihood by diversifying the source of income. African leafy vegetable is one of the sources.
The leafy vegetables value chain faces a number of challenges, including lack of quality seeds, capacity building of farmers, and limited post-production holding storage.
Today we are launching the African vegetable development strategy for the county, and in that document you have the issues on marketing. That document addresses the gaps, that like the capacity needs, how to grow these vegetables, how the value chain is going to be structured and managed.
Women, we have realized actually the women are actually at the base of the household. So we are saying that we want to work through the women groups to ensure that actually we promote the leafy vegetables. As a county government, we actually making a commitment through this strategy that we'll actually set aside funds to ensure that we actually promote these leafy vegetables.
Alanauko, Prime Edition.
Smile.
Now, banks and SACCOs should explore ways to collaborate to expand financial inclusion. Sidian Bank CEO Shege Thumbi says the symbiotic relationship between the financial service providers is key in offering solutions to the masses. Thumbi, who made the remarks during the 3rd annual Kenya Teachers SACCO Association Leaders Summit, tipped delegates on the importance of cybersecurity.
Our relationship with SACCOs is to provide solutions where they can extend services to their members using technology that we deploy to them, or even offering improved returns on their savings, where excess deposits are deposited with Sidian Bank, and where they have shortfalls in terms of funding, we're also able to extend wholesale funding to the SACCOs, so that the same SACCOs then can lend to their members at any given time to achieve the financial inclusion of their members across the entire country.
Well, that's the business news. Have yourself a lovely night. Sports news is coming up with Karen Kibet. My name is Betty Kiptum. Bye-bye.
Hisi ya kungoja kwenye star 570 hash kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed na inakungoja. Star 570 hash, bukana shake.
Man, and tonight it's all about celebrating the Kenyan talent, the Kenyan music.
His unique, instantly recognizable voice was one of the group's defining characteristics, standing out in a crowded field where comparisons are frequent.
Welcome back. Thank you for keeping it KBC Prime Edition. My name is Karen Kibet. Let's now talk sports. The Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba on Monday held bilateral talks with Morocco's Minister for National Education, Preschool and Sports, Shakib Bimoisa, focusing on sports and the creative arts. The two agreed on the establishment of an MOU between Kenya and Morocco to provide a formal arrangement for cooperation. Morocco won the bid to host the 2025 AFCON as well as co-hosting rights for the 2030 World Cup, and Kenya is keen to take lessons from Rabat as it prepares for the Pamoja AFCON 2027.
Sports to even deepen this friendship between our two countries, and we have agreed on an MOU. We're going to have an MOU as a formal arrangement to cement this relationship. And this relationship will cut across many fields, different sporting disciplines, from football to athletics, volleyball, rugby. Kenya has a very high performance in different disciplines, and we can learn a lot from Kenya and Kenyan experience in such fields. And the same, Morocco is preparing some worldwide continental or worldwide events in different sports, and mainly football, and we can also share how we are preparing such events. So.
Hosts Ulinzi Stars were held to a barren draw by Kenya Police in a closely contested Football Kenya Federation Premier League match played at Ulinzi Complex. Following the draw, Kenya Police are placed 5th on the log with 38 points, while Ulinzi Stars occupy position 12 with 26 points. Kenya Police under Salim Babu have won 5 of their last 6 league matches, while Ulinzi Stars has 2 wins in 6 matches. Defending champions Gor Mahia currently lead the log with 50 points, 10 ahead of second and third placed teams Tusker FC and Bandari FC. Posta Rangers and Nairobi City Stars complete the top 5 teams on the log. Muhoroni Youth, Shabana FC and Nzoia Sugar occupy the relegation zone. Kenya finished 4th in the men's 4x400 meter relay final as the curtains came down on the World Athletics Indoor Track and Field Championship in Glasgow, Scotland. Belgium won the race, while USA and Netherlands finished 2nd and 3rd respectively.
The Kenyan team led by Zablom Ekwam, Kelvin Sane, Weissman Were and Boniface Mweresa qualified for the final after finishing 3rd in their semi-final race. The Kenyan quadrant fought hard in the final, finishing 4th behind Belgium, USA and Netherlands, who took the top podium positions. The Kenyan team set a new African and national record of 3 minutes, 6.71 seconds. In another race, Kenyan's Vivian Kiprotich finished 4th in the women's 800 meters. Another Kenyan, Vincent Keita, was placed 10th in the men's 1500 meters.
First, we are thankful because having taken part in the World Indoor Championships, it's a great step. First time, we got the finals, and there we came number 4. So we believe it's a brick by brick we build as we move on.
For Prime Edition, I'm Sila Onyango.
Thank you, Salah, for that report. Moving on, the national men and women's volleyball teams have stepped up training ahead of their participation in the ongoing 2024 Accra Africa Games, which will culminate on 23rd of this month. The teams, Malkia Strikers and Wafalme Stars, will leave the country on Wednesday this week alongside judo and handball teams.
The teams have been undergoing rigorous training ahead, with their first matches scheduled for 12th of this month. Defending champions Malkia Strikers, under the tutelage of Jafeth Munala, will have experienced setters including Esther Mutinda and Immaculate Nekesa, while opposite players are Lois Simiu and Pamela Adhiambo. The team will be captained by Masi Moim, who will lead Juliana Namutira and Jemima Sinyangu, who are the outside hitters, with Agrippina Kundu being the only libero. The men's team will have a blend of young and experienced players and will be captained by Enoch Mogeni. These setters include Brian Meli and Kevin Kipkosgei, while middle blockers are Simon Kipkoril, Bren Mukamonde, Wilson Cheriot, and Levis Ogutu. The teams are currently in a residential camp at Kasarani and will leave the country on Wednesday this week, alongside with judo and handball teams. King Rimwangi for Prime Edition Sports.
Thank you, King Ori, for that report. Bernard Langat and Judith Jepngetich were crowned winners of the Kapsabet 15-kilometer road race in Nandi County. Langat clocked 44 minutes, 13.7 seconds to win the race, relegating Kiprotich Langat and Felix Kirui to second and third positions respectively. In the women's category, Judith Jepngetich emerged victorious ahead of Janet Jepkosgei and Joan Jepkosgei, who completed the podium positions. The winners received 250,000 Kenya shillings, while the second and third place finishers walked away with 150K and 100K respectively.
It's an elaborate thing that we are going to be doing across the country. Everywhere in the country will go there. And this is the right time for us to be in Nandi and to get new talent and new people being uplifted to the sportsman's glory. We are happy that we are going to be awarding the new champions, because Betika is about making champions. It's the home of champions.
Muranga Seal FC chairman of the strategy committee, Hussein Mohammed, has reiterated the need to grow the FKF Premier League and make it the best football league in the region. Hussein, who doubles up as the CEO of Extreme Sports, said the growth of the league will highly improve the standards of clubs and players. He said a good league will help Kenyan teams perform well at CAF competitions. Hussein was speaking after attending the KCB versus Muranga Seal League match at Police Sacco Stadium. And that story brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, with more sports news. Right now, I hand you back to my colleague, Tom Mboya, who has more. And Tom, I wish you a quick recovery. It's great seeing you doing the bulletin despite not feeling very well. May God give you all the strength you need. Uncle Tom, take it away.
Yeah, I was a bit under the weather. Anyway, thanks, Marakwet, for that sporty update. Betty was there earlier on. Thank you, Betty. And our sign language interpreter, Lensa Odingo, thank you as well. And thank you, the viewer, from wherever you're watching. My name is Tom Mboya, and we wish you a pleasant evening. Take care and drink warm water.
Shamba ni mbili, yako ni gani? Kwenye star 570 hash, every 100 shillings unayotumia kwa Lucky Game inakupa 1 entry point ya kuingia kwenye drum ya draw, ambayo inakupa fursa ya kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi mbili. Mwisho wa April namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings, na unapata title deed yako safi. Na mwisho wa Mei namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings, lori za mawe na mchanga. Ploti ndizo hizi, dial star 570 hash, title deed ndio hii. Fuka na shake.
Ili kupata msubiri Mungu kama skiza tune yako, bonyeza star 812 star 501 hash.
Kijana kanipigia simu, amejawa na huzuni, amefadhaika yuhoi. Nikamuuliza kunani? Japo nimetia jitihada za mtu wa kujenga nyumba kwa mate, nikaongeza kumcha Mungu, sifanikiwi. Naishi kama lofa mlala hoi, kabwela wa madongo.
Kupata msubiri Mungu kama skiza tune, bonyeza *812 *501 hash. *812 *501 hash.
KBC Channel 1 imeandaa vipindi spesheli katika mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhan mwaka huu kwa ajili yako.
Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kando na ukumbi wa Kiislamu na hutuba ya Ijumaa, kutakuwa na makala yanayoangazia maswala ya funga, mawaidha,
whosoever witnesses the month of Ramadan, then he should fast.
Vipindi vya mapishi.
Katika mapishi ya Ramadhani tutatayarisha pilau ya korosho. Utahitaji viazi, vitunguu vinne vikubwa, zabibu
na kaswida mbalimbali. Ramadhan kana. Pia tumekuandalia kalenda ya Ramadhan ili kukuweka kwenye mstari wa mbele katika funga yako. Tazama runinga ya KBC Channel 1 katika mwezi huu mtukufu wa Ramadhan ili kukuza na kuhifadhi imani yako.
You know that when it's a Monday, you expect to see these two faces on your screen to let you know everything that went down over the weekend. Matters Entertainment. My name is Vivian Degwa. How are you doing?
That's what's up, man. Alongside the party daddy, welcome to the biggest, the baddest. This is the award-winning show in the 254. Everybody's watching right now. Sindio, Miss V?
Absolutely.
Man, and tonight it's all about celebrating the Kenyan talent, the Kenyan music. Yeah.
Yes.
Our own is making headlines up.
Yes, that is Sophia Nzao.
Oh, God.
Sophia Nzao is really doing it big out here. And it's so good to see how one song can just make you blow up,
Just like
and
that.
Get to stages that no one would have ever thought about. Sophia Nzao over the weekend got to perform at Ultra South Africa. And it is not one of, it is actually the biggest electronic music concert in Africa.
Woo! And did you see how the crowd went wild?
The crowd really received the song. And it's beautiful how music is just so general, not general, like it's a one-on-one. It doesn't matter if you understand whatever she's saying
Absolutely.
or not. It's just so beautiful. She was there singing in her Kikuyu dialect, and people were just there, receiving the music so well. And I want to personally thank Fully Focus for just ensuring that our artists are known out there, for, giving her such a big platform.
That's what's up, man. Big shout out to you. We can't wait for, Abanton Pia Ivuke Hivi, because we've also, absolutely, this is the new sound, man. This is our brand new sound that we got, man. And also I saw, a couple of Abanton songs trending in Nigeria. You remember that? Yo, so it goes to show you that, we are in the right track when it comes to music, man.
We are in the
East
right
Africa.
track. I love how this year has begun musically for the 254. Now, that is just a tip rather, of what we have for you on the show. Better tune in, better tell a neighbor rather, who is not tuned in. Wambi ile show imeanza.
Absolutely, man. Tell your homies to tell their girlfriend that the legendary show is on.
Vivian Dago is my name, or you can simply just call me Miss V.
Jack Muller, the partydaddy.co.ke, aka your girlfriend got my website.
And you know what this right here is?
Grapevine.
What you gotta do?
The prime export of the Nilotic group found in the western part of Kenya is the dance music benga, which has shaped the melodies of Kenya, Africa, and the world at large. Retracing the roots of benga reveals one key component at the center of this phenomenon, nyatiti, an 8-string pentatonic scale lyre idolized as the queen of the clan. With 5 notes being a pentatonic instrument, Nyatiti is mainly rhythmic, like having a drum pattern with a little bit of a melody for pitching. The rest of the work relies on the voice and lyrics of the player.